Have you ever had the feeling that something about your life doesn't quite add up? That there's something beneath the surface, just out of reach, that no one ever told you about? Maybe you felt it walking through a crowded city street, hundreds of people, eyes down, minds elsewhere. Or maybe you felt it in your quietest moments, when the noise fades and you sense there's something more to this existence than what we've been led to believe. What if I told you? That feeling is not only real, it's a clue, a sign that you are beginning to see through the illusion that most people live in their entire lives without ever questioning. This video is about that illusion and how to break free from it. It's about the trap, the consciousness trap. Not a physical prison, not a conspiracy of governments or secret societies, but something far more pervasive. A trap of awareness, a condition of being so immersed in the external world, so identified with our thoughts, so conditioned by the systems around us, that we forget who we really are. This is not new. This is not theory. This is a truth that mystics, philosophers, and awakened beings across every culture have spoken of for thousands of years. And now, in our age of technology, distraction, and constant stimulation, this trap is more widespread than ever. But there is a way out, and that's what this journey is about. We're going to explore what the consciousness trap is, how society is structured to keep us asleep, and how ancient wisdom, modern science, and simple but powerful practices can help you reclaim your awareness and begin to live from a higher state of consciousness. By the end of this video, you may never look at your world or yourself the same way again. So let's begin at the beginning. The consciousness trap begins with a forgetting of who you truly are. You were not born to chase paychecks and approval. You were not born to sit in traffic and scroll endlessly through curated illusions. You were born as pure awareness, limitless, luminous, deeply connected to all of existence. But as we grow, something strange happens. We're taught a name, we're told our role, we learn the rules, and slowly we start to believe that we are the character, not the player, not the dreamer, just the mask. And the more we identify with that mask, our job title, our past, our physical body, our thoughts, the more we forget the infinite stillness underneath. This forgetting is the trap. It's not enforced by walls or chains. It's enforced by repetition, by distraction, by fear. You wake up, you go to work, you follow the news, you pay the bills, you numb the emptiness with entertainment or consumption, and you call it life. But deep down, there's a subtle ache, a whisper that says, this isn't all there is. And you're right, it's not. Because real life, life in its truest form, begins when you remember, when you turn your awareness inward, when you step back from the noise of the world and ask the most dangerous, most beautiful question of all, what is really going on here? To help you understand the depth of this trap, I want to share a story. Over 2,000 years ago, the Greek philosopher Plato told the story of a group of people who had spent their entire lives chained inside a dark cave. All they could see were the shadows dancing on the wall in front of them, cast by a fire behind them. To them, those shadows were reality. They talked about them, studied them, formed beliefs around them, because they had never seen anything else. But one day, one of the prisoners broke free. He turned around, and for the first time he saw the fire. He saw that the shadows were just projections, illusions, and when he stepped outside the cave he saw the sun, the true source of light. It was overwhelming, blinding, but it was real. And when he returned to tell the others, they didn't believe him. They thought he was crazy, because the cave was all they had ever known. Now ask yourself, what if you are living in that cave? What if your beliefs, your daily routines, your perceptions of yourself and the world are just shadows, reflections of something far greater you haven't yet turned to face? The consciousness trap is the cave, and turning around is the first step to freedom. If the consciousness trap is the cave, then society is the one tending the fire, casting the shadows. Not out of malice, necessarily, but out of momentum, out of programming passed from one generation to the next. You see, from the moment we're born, we're conditioned, not taught how to be aware, but how to behave, how to fit in, how to play a role. We're taught what to value, good grades, obedience, status. We're taught what to fear, failure, judgment, the unknown. From a young age, the world begins to shape us, not into awakened beings, but into cogs, efficient, productive, quiet cogs, in a machine that rarely stops to ask, what is all this really for? Think about it. School doesn't teach you how to meditate, how to examine your thoughts, how to observe your own mind and ask where beliefs come from. Instead, it teaches you how to memorize, how to follow instructions, how to sit still and be evaluated. You're taught to value facts, rarely to explore wisdom. You're prepared for a career, but not for a conscious life. And once you enter adulthood, the pattern continues. Work, bills, debt, an endless cycle designed to keep you busy, too busy to reflect, too stressed to feel, too distracted to notice the bars on the cage. And when there is free time, what fills it? Endless scrolling, endless stimulation, endless updates, alerts, messages, none of which point you back to your inner world. It's a treadmill that moves just fast enough to keep you from ever stopping to ask, why am I really here? Now, let's be clear. This isn't necessarily some grand evil plan. It doesn't have to be, because systems don't need a conscious puppet master to keep people asleep. They just need inertia. As long as the cycle is working, as long as people keep buying, producing, obeying, and distracting, there's no incentive to change. And in some corners of power, yes, the suppression of deeper knowledge has been intentional. Throughout history, those in control have buried teachings that empowered the individual. Mystical traditions, ancient wisdom, even revolutionary science, discarded, ridiculed, or kept hidden. Because a fully awakened human is not easy to manipulate, not easy to sell to, not easy to keep in fear. A conscious person is unpredictable. They ask dangerous questions. They live from the inside out, not the outside in. And that makes them powerful. But for most people, it's not about manipulation. It's about momentum. Most of society is simply repeating what it was taught. Parents pass on their own conditioning. Teachers echo what they were told. Friends, co-workers, media, all mirroring the same unconscious patterns. And so we grow up inside a cultural echo chamber, one that rewards conformity and punishes awareness. Try bringing up topics like consciousness, simulation theory, or ancient spiritual wisdom at a dinner party. Watch how quickly the eyes glaze over, or how fast the subject is changed. Why? Because we've been trained to stay shallow, to laugh off what makes us uncomfortable, to fear what we don't understand. And the result is a world full of people pretending to be awake, but secretly longing for more. Maybe you've felt it too, that restlessness, that sense that there must be something deeper beneath the surface, that life was meant to be more than this cycle of doing, proving, performing. If you have, it's not a flaw. It's not a crisis. It's a signal, a crack in the illusion, a sign that your soul is stirring and your consciousness is beginning to rise. Because once you start to question the world, you begin to awaken, and the systems that once held you, they begin to lose their grip. What if I told you this is not a new problem? The trap we're talking about, the illusion, the sleep, the forgetting, has been known for thousands of years, and so has the way out. Hidden in ancient texts, whispered in mystery schools, encoded in symbols and allegories, humanity has left breadcrumbs, clues, maps, instructions, not written for the masses, but for the seekers, for those willing to look beyond the surface, for those like you. Let's go back to a time before modern distractions, before electricity, before the internet, before smartphones, back to ancient Egypt. A figure stands at the intersection of myth and wisdom. Thoth, the god of knowledge, writing, and divine magic. To the Greeks, he would become Hermes Trismegistus, a fusion of Thoth and Hermes, the messenger of the gods. and from his teachings came a profound body of knowledge, now known as Hermeticism. These weren't mere stories, they were spiritual instructions, teachings about the true nature of the universe and how consciousness creates reality. In the Hermetic tradition, one truth stands above all. The all is mind. Everything, matter, energy, life, even time, originates from a singular, infinite consciousness. You are not separate from it. You are it, a fragment of the whole, a wave in the ocean of being. This isn't metaphor, it's mechanics. The universe isn't a dead machine, it's alive, it's mental, and your mind is not inside the universe. Your mind is the universe, localized in a human body. Let that sink in. Everything you experience is filtered through your consciousness. You're not observing reality, you're shaping it. But Hermeticism wasn't alone in this view. Far from it. Thousands of miles away, ancient sages in India were saying the same thing. They called it Maya, the grand illusion. Not illusion as in fake, but illusion as in incomplete. A veil that covers the infinite with the finite, that presents form and forgets essence. According to Advaita Vedanta, there is only one truth, Brahman, the infinite consciousness behind all things. The self you identify with, your name, your past, your body, is not your true self. Your true self is the Atman, the eternal awareness beyond thought and form. And once you pierce the illusion of Maya, you don't just see the truth, you become it. The Buddha taught something similar. He called this illusion samsara, the endless cycle of craving and suffering. To awaken, he said, we must see through our attachments, see the impermanence in all things, and rest in pure awareness. He didn't point you to beliefs. He pointed you to direct experience, to sit, to observe, to witness your mind like clouds drifting across a sky until the sky itself is all that remains, clear, open, vast. That sky is you. Even the early Christians had their mystics, the Gnostics, a sect that saw the material world not as a gift but as a prison. They spoke of the demiurge, a false god who created a false world, a world meant to distract, deceive, and keep the soul asleep. Sound familiar? The Gnostics believed that each human carried within them a divine spark, a fragment of the true source, hidden under layers of illusion. They called the path to awakening gnosis, not book knowledge, but inner knowing. To them, salvation didn't come from blind belief. It came from direct awareness, from turning inward and remembering. And that's the through line. Whether it's the Hermetic teachings, the Vedic scriptures, the Buddhist path, or the Gnostic gospel, they all say the same thing. There is more to reality than what you've been shown, and the key to unlocking it is consciousness, not altered, not enhanced, just remembered. You were never meant to stay asleep. You were never meant to forget. The systems may have buried the truth, the noise may have drowned it out, but the spark remains. And the moment you begin to seek it, truly seek it, the universe begins to respond. For centuries, science and spirituality seemed like opposites. One dealt in facts and formulas, the other in feelings and faith. But what if that separation was never real? What if they've been circling the same truth all along, from opposite sides of the same great mystery? Because now, science is beginning to say things that sound a lot like what ancient mystics have whispered for thousands of years. Let's start with quantum physics. At the tiniest level of existence, smaller than atoms, smaller than electrons, the laws of the universe stop behaving the way we expect. Particles flicker in and out of existence. They exist in multiple places at once. They don't settle into form until someone observes them. Let that sink in. Matter needs to be observed to become real. This is called the observer effect. And it's not speculation. It's been demonstrated over and over in experiments. The most famous is the double-slit experiment. When particles like electrons are not being watched, they behave like waves, spread out, infinite, uncertain. But the moment they are observed, they collapse into a single defined position. Consciousness affects reality. The ancient sages said, the universe is mental. Science now says matter responds to the mind. Are we really that far apart? And it gets stranger. Some physicists believe our entire universe may be a kind of simulation, a perfectly encoded mathematical construct governed by information, not matter. It sounds like science fiction, but respected thinkers like Oxford philosopher Nick Bostrom and tech innovators like Elon Musk have argued that the odds we live in base reality are slim. And why? Because if it's possible to create a simulated reality so advanced that it feels real, then statistically, we're probably inside one. Even NASA scientists have explored the possibility. And if that's true, if reality is a simulation, then who or what is the coder? Who's the observer behind the code? And more importantly, what does that make you? Whether you see it as code, as illusion, as Maya, or Matrix, the message is the same. Reality is not fixed, it's fluid, malleable, responsive, and your mind, your consciousness, is not a passive receiver, it's an active participant. Think about the implications. If reality responds to awareness, then what happens when you change the way you see? What happens when you shift your inner state from fear to presence, from limitation to expansion? You're not just feeling better, you're reshaping the field around you. Science has also shown us the placebo effect, where belief alone can heal the body. We've seen meditation reshape brainwaves. We've seen focused intention influence water, plants, even random number generators. Is it really such a stretch to believe that your thoughts, your energy, your focus are shaping your experience in real time? What if reality isn't a solid wall, but a mirror, reflecting back to you the frequency you carry, the beliefs you hold, the stories you tell yourself? What if this isn't the real world? What if this is the dream, and consciousness is the dreamer? That's not poetry. That's physics. That's philosophy. That's the beginning of liberation. Because if your world is created by your awareness, then freedom doesn't start out there. It starts in here, in the way you observe, in the way you believe, in the way you wake up. Now that you understand what the trap is, and how both ancient wisdom and modern science reveal the illusion, the next question is, where are you on the path? Still in the maze, or starting to see the exit? There are signs, subtle but clear, and once you know what to look for, you'll begin to recognize them in your own life. You wake up and immediately check your phone. You go through the day with a low hum of anxiety, never quite present, never quite still. You chase goals, money, status, validation, but each one you catch leaves you emptier than the last. You feel stuck in your thoughts, racing, planning, regretting, replaying. You believe every word your mind says, even when it's cruel. You avoid silence. You can't sit still for long. You fill every space with noise, because deep down you're afraid of what you'll hear in the quiet. You dismiss the spiritual. You laugh off concepts like meditation, vibration, synchronicity, not because you've explored them, but because the world trained you to mock what it doesn't understand. And beneath it all, there's a numbness, a gnawing sense that something essential is missing, that no matter how much you achieve, you're never quite home. These are the signs that you're still in the trap, still asleep. But there's no shame in that, because even knowing there is a trap is the beginning of waking up. Waking up doesn't happen all at once. It happens in glimpses, in waves, in moments when the fog clears and you feel something ancient stir inside you. You start to question, not in anger, but in wonder. Who am I, really? Why do I believe what I believe? What else might be true? You find yourself less interested in small talk and more drawn to meaning. You start noticing synchronicities, numbers repeating, thoughts manifesting, dreams that feel like messages. Your intuition sharpens. You begin to feel what's right before the mind can explain it. You sense energy in people, in places, in yourself. You feel more connected to nature. The forest feels alive, the stars feel familiar. Time slows down when you're fully present. You begin to detach from drama, from needing to be right, from playing roles that no longer fit. You sense something bigger guiding you. Not a religion, not a dogma, but a silent intelligence that seems to move through all things, including you. And perhaps most importantly, you begin to feel moments of peace that don't depend on anything outside of you. That peace, that stillness, that's not escape. That's home. These signs aren't proof you're enlightened. They're reminders. You're remembering who you are. Not a name, not a story, but awareness itself. The part of you that watches the thoughts, that feels the pull of truth, that cannot be harmed, controlled, or erased. That's you. That's always been you. And every moment you act from that awareness, you loosen the grip of the trap, you widen the crack in the illusion, you invite in the light. So take a breath. Where are you? Where are you waking up? And what's still keeping you asleep? Awareness is the first freedom. Because once you see clearly, you can choose differently. And now it's time to choose. So you've seen the trap, you've felt its weight, you've noticed the cracks forming in your own perception. Now the question becomes, how do you break free completely? How do you live awake in a world designed to keep you asleep? Here are 6 powerful techniques to help you expand your consciousness and begin walking the path of true awakening. 1. Daily stillness. Find time each day, 10 minutes, even 5, to sit in silence. Close your eyes. Breathe in, breathe out. Don't try to stop your thoughts. Simply observe them. Watch them come and go like clouds drifting through a vast. That sky is you, the observer, the consciousness that never changes. The more you practice stillness, the more you remember that you are not your thoughts. You are the space they move through. Over time, the noise softens, and in the silence, truth begins to rise. 2. Self-inquiry. Ask yourself one of the most powerful questions in existence. Who am I, really? Not your name, not your history, not your job or personality. Go deeper. Who is the one watching your thoughts? Who feels the pull of something more? Who dreams, awakens, seeks? The more you ask, the more the false begins to fall away. And what's left is truth, pure awareness, still, radiant, free. 3. Conscious consumption. What you feed your mind matters. Every headline, every video, every post, are you feeding fear or clarity, numbness or awareness? Be mindful, limit the noise, curate your inputs, replace mindless content with things that expand you, books, teachers, nature, silence. Your attention is sacred. Don't give it to things that shrink you. Guard your energy like it's your life, because in many ways, it is. 4. Presence in the body. Awakening isn't just about the mind. It's about presence in the body, in the now. Take walks without your phone. Feel your feet on the ground. Taste your food without distraction. Bring awareness into your breath, into your movement, into each moment, because the present is the only place the truth lives. You don't awaken in the future. You awaken now. 5. Nature as teacher. Spend time in nature, often and with presence. Look at a tree, truly look. It isn't rushing, it isn't doubting, it simply exists, fully, quietly in its purpose. The forest doesn't compare itself, the river doesn't resist its flow. When you're in nature, you're reminded of your natural state, peaceful, connected, alive. Let it teach you, let it mirror you, let it reset you. 6. Follow the thread. Every awakening begins with curiosity, with a moment of what if, with a spark. Follow it. If a book calls to you, read it. If a teacher resonates, listen. If a practice excites you, try it. Your soul leaves breadcrumbs. Follow the ones that lead you deeper into awareness. You don't need a guru. You don't need a perfect system. You just need presence and the courage to keep going. You don't escape the trap in one giant leap. You escape it moment by moment, choice by choice. Each time you pause instead of react. Each time you meditate instead of distract. Each time you ask a real question instead of accept a false answer, you are waking up. You are remembering. And with each remembrance, the illusion fades, the light grows, and life begins to feel real again. Here's the truth. The trap was never locked. You were holding the key all along. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are not small. You are consciousness itself, endless, expansive. powerful beyond measure. The systems may still run, the world may still sleep, but you don't have to. You can choose to live awake, to see clearly, to feel deeply, to walk through life with your eyes wide open and your heart on fire. And if you do, you won't just change your life, you'll ripple into the lives of everyone around you, because awakened people awaken others. So take a breath, take a step. The door is open, the illusion is cracking, and you are finally free to walk through. Thank you for listening. Thank you for seeking. Stay awake, stay aware, and never stop expanding. Your journey has only just begun.